Okay, let's see. Alright, favorite operating system.
To be honest, I'd probably have to say Linux.
Okay, next.
I'd have to say Windows Vista.
Don't tell me you're one of those guys trying to get me into Windows Vista.
Well, if we're being real, Windows Vista is the original Windows 7.
Yeah, you're just trying to get me to use Windows Vista. But you know, I've never really made a Windows Vista video. Let's do it. Cool intro, right? Yeah, that's the most I can use before I get copyrighted, actually. But I think it's best if we do a recap. I mean, it has been 3 weeks, so... Driving in my car right after a beer. Now, I figure some of you might ask, where have I been? To put it in shortly, I've been... All jokes aside, the past few weeks I have been experiencing a few health problems. But that's not going to stop me from making a new video. I'm not sure if any of you were actually questioning why I was gone. Who gives a shit? Let's just daily drive Windows Vista. Throughout this entire installation, I had a feeling that I was going to encounter a lot of problems. But to my surprise, I actually didn't even encounter a single problem. And now, I'm not going to let this deceive me because I know Windows Vista is very good at messing itself up when it comes to good times. Now that I mention it, it kind of feels like some type of future cliche that's going to happen. But who am I to predict things to happen? Also, I found something pretty concerning about Windows Vista. This footage is 40 times sped up. That means that Windows Vista took around an hour to install, which on average, a Windows Vista install, especially on an SSD, is supposed to take around 20 minutes. But for some reason, it took exactly 1 hour. While we wait for Windows Vista to fully set up, let's start our quiz game show. On today's game show, we have a question for the future part of this video. Let me just find the card real quick. There we go. When Amara Polo inserts the GPU inside the Windows Vista machine, the computer A, turns on, B, doesn't display anything, C, Amara Polo dies, or D, I don't know. Cast your answer into the comments and we'll see if you're right. Now let's resume to using Windows Vista. I think Windows Vista is the only operating system with the worst browser support ever. I downloaded the exact version of Firefox that Firefox literally told me to install, and it still told me it was out of support. And who cares though? At least we have that browser called Supermium? Who even names these browsers anymore? Well, apparently this browser is supposed to work with older operating systems, so let's give it a try. Not very super of this browser, I'd have to say. I'm surprised even when Windows Vista gets a supported browser, it still finds a way to fuck shit up. But alas, I think we should move on from browsers. It's about time we work on the GPU. Now, having the GPU on deck isn't really going to be difficult for me. The real thing that's going to be difficult for it is actually getting drivers for it, especially on Windows Vista. Now, the actual most unfortunate part about all of this is gambling with the computer whether or not it wants to detect the GPU. And knowing Windows Vista, it absolutely sucks at plug and play. But that reminds me of something. It's time to reveal the answers on the game show. Where was it again? Alright, if you answered B for whether or not the GPU is gonna work, you are correct!
Wait! Stop! I wanted to see Amara Polo die! That was my answer!
Listen, my child, I understand how you feel. And you know, being a loser is really hard. But something I want you to understand is, me going through this entire process to use Windows Vista is me dying inside. So no matter what answer you picked, you were still right. So don't feel bad. Be glad that I'm trying to use Windows Vista.
You know, that kind of makes sense. Thank you, Polo.
Wait a minute. Polo? No one calls me Polo. That's Amara Polo to you. Anyway, now that he's gone, let's test out some apps and games for Windows Vista. You know, I'm really surprised that Windows Vista was actually able to install GPU drivers without making me do it. This marks Windows Vista's first dub in a long ass time. I mean, honestly, when you look at Windows Vista, it's truly just so beautiful how they designed it. I mean, sure, there was a lot wrong with Windows Vista, but I'll take a good look in OS just for some problems that I could fix. And some of those problems being that even though I used older versions of Spotify or Discord, I was getting a bunch of errors like I wasn't using the right version. And plus, I even have extended kernel, so I don't know why it's not working. Honestly, it's pretty funny to me how WinRAR was the only program that managed to install. I think it comes to show that we need our software to be more consistent than our operating systems. The number one golden rule for any operating system is to always play Peggle on it, no matter what. Now some of you might be curious and ask, why is it that it's always required to run Peggle on an operating system? It's because Peggle is the most demanding game out there right now. If an operating system cannot run it, then what good is the operating system in the first place? But as you can see on the screen right now, Windows Vista seems to be holding up pretty well. Now the next game is called Hamster Ball. If you're wondering where I got the installer from, I got it from a very reputable source. Furthermore, Hamster Ball is a game released in 2004 for operating systems such as Windows 2000 and higher. Now me personally, I've actually never played this game before on PC, but I do remember playing it on PS3. And once again, in my opinion, I think the PS3 version is way better than the PC version. But hey, this doesn't mean that the PC version is bad, I just don't prefer it. Now I want to say thank you to Dado? I think that's how you pronounce it. Well, I just want to thank Dado for recommending me this game in the first place. But now I think it's time for a more intense game. Now I've always been a hardcore Undertale fan all my life. I've beaten this game so many times I can't even count. And I remember the first time I beat Sans. It was probably the worst and the best feeling ever. Moving on, I think the best part about the genocide route is seeing Kara take over your computer for a little bit. I remember when this first happened to me, the screen shaking was the most scariest shit back then. Well, that's the end of using Windows Vista for this video. But before this video ends, I want to give a shout out to Zephanox for helping out with the voice acting in this video. Please like and subscribe as it helps a lot with me producing these videos. By the way, if you want to help out with future videos, check the description and join the Discord server. Thank you all.